Hey guys, it's Vortex. So, I figured I'd just share the build that I'm making, and this is just going to be kind of a build overview of the whole system. Right here, you can see I have the MSI Z68A GD80 motherboard, and I know a lot of you are probably like, well, why didn't you go with an Asus motherboard or a Gigabyte motherboard? And to be honest, I was looking at the Gigabyte Z68 UD5 motherboard, but when it came down to it, I liked the MSI a lot more because it has the spacing on the PCI slots are just great because I'm going to be putting two beefy graphics cards in this thing, and they're going to need a lot of airflow. And the way the PCI slots are laid out, you have you're going to be able to put they're not going to be sandwiched together. So you're going to have a space in between both graphics cards so that they can breathe easier. And then also I'm putting a sound card in here too, and that's also not going to get in the way of the graphics card's airflow, which I think is really, really nice. So there's that, just the spacing. And then it also comes with, you can see right here, it comes with PCI Express 3.0. And I mean, sure, that's pretty much kind of a moot point because you're not even going to be able to use that until Ivy Bridge comes out. And honestly, if I were upgrading to Ivy Bridge, I'd probably just buy another motherboard anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. But I figured, hey, it has nice spacing when it comes to the PCI slots. And then it also has PCI Express 3.0. So I figured, why not be a little bit cooler and a little bit more future-proof? And also I looked up some reviews, and people are saying they can get the i7 2600K on this thing up to 5 gigahertz or more. So we'll see what happens with that when I'm overclocking, because I do have the i7 2600K processor right here that I'm going to be dropping in the motherboard. So I want to see if I can get this thing up to 5 gigahertz. I know a lot of them have been topping out at 4.8, but honestly, that's fine with me. 4.8 is an amazing overclock already, and really the only reason you're wanting to get to 5 gigahertz is for bragging rights anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully I can get it to 5 gigahertz, but if I can't, I'll still be happy. And then the RAM that I'm going to be throwing in is the G.Skill Ripjaws X kit, and it's an 8 gigabyte kit. And I don't know if you can see that. It's not focusing very well. But it's going to be running at 600 megahertz with timings of 7, 8, 7, 24, which is really nice. I like that a lot. The only thing I don't like about this RAM kit is that for whatever reason, it's running at 1.6 volts. Which normally on a build like this with a Z68 motherboard it'd be running at 1.5 volts, but I guess that's not really that big of a deal because I'm not going to be overclocking the memory, but we'll see if I run into any issues. I don't think I will because it's only 0.1 over the recommended, and people do overclock their memory and overvolt their memory, so it really shouldn't be that big of an issue. So what I'm going to be using to cool the i7 2600K is the Corsair H100, I guess, liquid cooler, although it won't come near the performance of custom liquid cooling. But you can see I've already started putting it together when I got it last night. I have two Cooler Master 120mm sickle flow fans on there. I love these fans because they blow a lot of air and they're really quiet. They do about 70 cubic feet of air per minute, so they're really, really nice. And I'm going to be, there's two right there right now, and I'm going to be putting two more right here on the back. The reason I didn't do that last night when I got it was because the screws that I bought were too long. I was looking around on some forums doing some Google searches, and someone had the same issue I had with getting more screws, because when you get the H100 it only comes with 8 screws, so that's only good for the 2 fans. So you have to go out and buy some more screws if you want more than 2 fans mounted on this thing. So I was looking around on the internet and people were saying, yeah, they have to be 1.5 inches long. Turns out I bought the 1.5 inch long screws and they were slightly longer than the ones that came with the H100. So if you are buying the H100 and you are planning to go with a push-pull configuration, these are the screws that fit right here. These are, I don't know if you can see that because this camera doesn't do a great job of focusing, it seems like. But the measurements of these things are 6/32 of an inch by 1 1/4 inches, which means that they are 1 1/4 inches long. That is the correct measurement. But again, if you are going with the H100 and you're looking for a push-pull configuration, get 6/32 of an inch screws that are 1 1/4 inches long. I can't stress that enough. Okay, so moving on, I'm going to show you basically the optical drives and hard drives that I have sitting right here. Well, first of all, almost lost that one. I've got just a Rosewool card reader, which is nice because I like to be able to take pictures with my phone and then load them on my computer. So I've got that. And then I've got, in all this packaging still, I have the LG Blu-ray drive. And then you can see right here I have 2 Western Digital Caviar Black drives. They're 1 terabyte each. I'm going to be putting those in RAID 0 just for faster storage. And the reason they're in different packaging right now is just because I ordered one from Newegg and I got one from Tiger Direct. The reason I did that is because Newegg right now is limiting their sales of hard drives to 1 per customer. I'm assuming because of the floods in Thailand, and I'm sure I spent more than these probably used to be worth. I spent $120 on one and $140 on the other, but I'm really glad that I bought them before they topped out at $200. And again, this is all because of the floods that are going on in Thailand. So prices are going up tremendously because there's a company in Thailand that's been flooded that basically makes 80% of the market's hard drive motors. So all of a sudden hard drives are becoming more and more scarce, which means prices are skyrocketing. So I'm really happy that I got these 2 drives before they topped out at $200 each. And then in addition to that, I have the 240 gigabyte Patriot Wildfire SSD, and while 240 gigabytes isn't a tremendous amount of space, I mean, it's an SSD, and for an SSD that is a tremendous amount of space. And the Patriot Wildfire is probably the fastest, one of the fastest, if not the fastest SSD on the market right now. So that should be tremendous in this build.